Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kirsty if you're new here, and in today's video I wanted to have a little chat about how to become the person you want to be. Now, often when we want to make a change, right, we're trying to escape from habits and behaviors that aren't serving us. I'm going to use, for example, in this context, smoking, drinking, and eating foods that maybe aren't going to take you towards your goal. But you're someone that wants to become fitter, you want to look more toned, you want to be able to feel healthier, and you want to be able to wear whatever clothes you want and not be held back by the way that you perceive yourself, right? So let's just say that's you and this is where you want to go. Now, I think that is so amazing. Like, the best thing is, like, when you decide you want to make a change, it's so exciting. You're like, that's it, I'm making that change. Right? And we've got to hold on to that motivation. We've got to grab onto that. We've got to go, yep, this is it. Like, let's ride on that motivation. However, motivation won't always be there. So tip number one for me is, like, what is your why? What is your why? Why do you want to change from who you are right now? Why do you want to get rid of smoking, drinking, eating shitty foods, whatever it might be? And why do you want to become this person that does X, Y, and Z? The why is always going to be the most important factor. If it's like, you know, if you think like, oh, because you think it'll make you feel better, it's like you need to go a little bit deeper than that. Where have you seen that what you're experiencing right now is impacting your day-to-day, impacting your future, right? You've got to understand your why, because your why is going to be a driving factor. Now, if you get stuck with that, just sit with it and really think about. Something I love to do is like visualize, is like, okay, if I became this person that was running half marathons and was super fit and I never got held back from what I wanted to wear, how would this feel? What would this do for my life? What kind of things would I be doing as this person? And the visualization feeling activity is a really great way to sort of lean into the fact of like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, all right. Now I'm sort of understanding that is my why, right? Your why is going to be a driving force when motivation is low. Now, the next thing I wanted to add is like, don't go too hard too quick. Now, something that I commonly find is that when people want to make change, right, they decide to do, that's it, I'm not doing anything anymore, I'm going to be 100% on, and then they hit a day where it's really, really challenging, right? So I'll take for context about something that, I've experienced with myself, but also I have seen in clients previously, and this is things that I've got to help people through, is that they're like, yep, sweet, I'm going to be able to be completely on point for the next 4 weeks. But then it's literally like, I swear, whenever people say I'm going to be on point for the next 4 weeks, life happens. Life will test you to see if you're actually serious about going towards that goal. No matter what goal it is, when you're like, that's it, I'm going to dedicate myself to this, life will test you and see how dedicated you truly are. See, strength doesn't lie in the consistency when, seas are smooth. Strength lies in the consistency when the seas are rough, right? Calm seas never made a skilled sailor, as they say. I hope I got that saying right. But it's the sense of that if you preempt the fact that something challenging might come, then it allows you to plan for that accordingly, right? So when I come back to that tip of like starting small and not going too hard too quick, it's because usually when we take on too much, that's already applying a stress to the body and the mind. What we want to do is add just enough, right? The minimal effective dose that over time is going to create a sustainable change, that when the seas do get a little bit rocky, you're able to stay afloat, right? You're not capsizing, you're actually staying afloat. And this is a really big thing to note, because most people, I love the conversation, like, I'm just an all or nothing sort of person. And it's like, you know what? That may be you right now, but how do we work with that skill that you have, right? How can we go all in at a smaller capacity that's going to allow you to stay all in for the rest of your life, right? And the reason why I say that is because, most people I do work with have that all or nothing mindset. I definitely have got that mindset. I've had to train and understand myself over a period of time to pace things out, to slow and pause and reflect and refine and gradually over time build myself up, because when you start to accomplish little things over time, this builds your confidence in yourself, the trust in yourself that you can accomplish these things. But if you're constantly teaching yourself that when you put yourself 100% in at the top effort and you're constantly failing and having to start back at square one, that's not teaching you confidence. That's teaching you, okay, you can't get it done. That's teaching you that, not the right things, if that makes sense. So what you want to do is take it gradually and do it over time, right? And when I talk about preparing for challenges, like when the rough seas come, is that you want to forward think. You want to sit down and think, okay, cool, right? Let's just say, you're like, cool, I normally eat ultra processed foods. I normally eat out quite a lot. Where do I normally do that and why? Okay, cool. All right, if I'm going to start meal prepping, where would be my challenges of not being able to stick to my meal prep? And you're like sort of preempting those challenges, right? And you're like, cool, but what would I do then if that challenge arose? Now, I think this is such a great skill to have. I actually feel like there is some sort of stigma where it's like, oh, don't preempt. Like, you just got to live in the now. And it's like, well, no, I actually think an incredible skill. It's engaging a part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. It's rational, it's balanced, it's going, cool, what could go right? What could go wrong? These are the pathways. I'm literally preparing for the future. I feel like this is such a great way of like meditation as well. You're essentially going, cool, these could be the potential pathways. There could be some unknowns as well, but even preempting the unknown. Okay, well, an unknown might happen. How can I stop and pause and regulate myself? Or how can I stop and pause and go, hey, okay, hold on. How do I create a buffer so that way I can choose the best decision for me in that moment, right? By actually practicing these skills, this allows you to strengthen that part of your brain. That's part of awareness, that's a part of forward thinking, but it also is a very conscious aspect for you to be able to stay in control of your actions. Often a lot of times what I see is like when people default to their, I suppose, stronger behaviors, even if they're not favorable, it's usually because they're not fully online, right? They're tapping into different parts of their brain. It might be the emotional brain. It might be the reptilian brain, the survival part of the brain. And often it's usually when people are extremely tired, they default to whatever is the easiest, even if it's not the best for them. So by practicing with this, it just starts to bring that awareness in those challenging times and it starts to become a skill. So that will be my next point when it comes to wanting to evolve into the person you want to be. And then the last point I would say is like, you've got to believe in yourself, right? You've got to believe in yourself that you can achieve this and become who you want to be. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you're never going to make it, right? We can have a plan, we can have something to follow, but if we essentially don't believe in ourselves, don't believe in the process that we're doing too, but the biggest thing is belief in yourself, because even if you've got this vision for yourself, right, and you don't know an exact plan to get there, if you have solid belief in yourself, you will get there, right? Just may not be exactly on paper of what it is, may not be as fast as you want. It may be super fast, who knows? But the belief in yourself is always going to be the greatest thing that you could ever have when you want to change. Believe that you can do this. Believe that something greater is for you. And I say this with so much love and so much passion is because if you come in, and let's just say you come in and you want to transform your life, right? You want to lose 30 kilos, 40 kilos. You want to be able to run a half marathon. You want to be able to get super strong. You need to believe in yourself to be able to get there, right? A great coach will support you on those days, no matter what, right? To be able to help you when days get low, right? There's not every day you're going to be like, oh my God, sunshine, daisies, all that sort of stuff. Some days you're going to really doubt yourself. But overall, you want to be able to get back up and keep going and be like, no, I can do this. I believe in myself. I will keep going. And that's a really big thing, because if you don't believe in yourself, believe in the actions, or believe in the vision of what you're trying to create, tying back to that why, right? It will never come to fruition. You must believe that something greater is for you, right? Because allow your vision to blossom, allow your vision to come to life. So they would be my main points. And then I will add one more in, just because I thought I might. It's having a beautiful balance of compassion and accountability for yourself on the pursuit of your goals. Now I say a balance, right? Because I've done both. I've been extremely accountable. I've got this part of me that's like, just show up and do the freaking work. Don't worry about how you feel. Don't worry about the circumstances. Just show up and work. And I've done that for a lot of my life. Then there was another part of me that when I experienced something extremely challenging in my life, I was extremely passionate, right? Don't worry about it, girl. Just honor your needs, girl. Like, you just get back on track tomorrow, all that sort of stuff. But that didn't get me anywhere either, right? Being too hard, being too soft never really got me anywhere, right? It got me to understand that you need a balance of both, right? So you need a balance of accountability and compassion for yourself. Now, personally, how I instill this is, one, you've got to have reflection points. What went really well for me today? Awesome. Let's acknowledge that. What didn't go well for me today and why? Okay, cool, let's acknowledge that. Is there something I would do differently tomorrow if I had another chance? And that allows you to create a new possibility. Now, this is the beautiful thing of accountability, because you're acknowledging, cool, what went really well and why? Cool, how can we replicate that? What didn't go well? Okay, we're acknowledging that, I could have been a little bit better here today, or maybe I could have made a better decision here today. But then we're giving ourselves that bit of compassion. It's like, cool, all right, how can we learn from this? And how can we create a different experience tomorrow or whenever we get the other chance? Now, that is how we have beautiful balance of accountability and compassion. And I cannot express to you enough how important this is, because if you just go every day, oh, I'm a failure, like I should have done this, I'm a bad person, like, you suck and all that sort of shit, that's not going to get you anywhere. It's only going to get you so far. But if you're like, oh my God, don't even worry about it, girl, like it's all good, like just get back on track tomorrow, that's not going to help you learn either, because see, both of those are just punishment or it's okay. Instead of going, hey, cool, we acknowledge it, but can we learn from it? What can we learn from this experience? And that learning aspect is what's going to take you forward. These are the sort of things that I teach my clients, because it teaches you autonomy. It teaches you to have better language with yourself as well. And I feel like that's so important, because we all have that inner critic. I know I definitely do. The inner critic still comes up and I'm like, girl, you just need to back down a little bit, all right? I'm doing the best that I can. I'm going to learn. I'll give you space in my journal. But we all have that part of us that can belittle us, that can put us down, all those sort of things. By working with ourselves and having that compassionate part and that accountability, it's not taking away from those parts that care a lot. Like I like to think of like my inner critic cares so much about the standard, cares so much about certain things, right? And then the other part of me that's like super compassionate, right, is, super caring and super loving, right? Doesn't want any conflict, doesn't want any hurt. But it's like, neither are going to get me to where I want to be. So how can I find a mediator in the middle and go, all right, let's take on both sides. Let's take it all on. And how can we learn from this and diffuse the situation and keep moving forward in the direction we want to go, instead of going round and round in circles? So that will be my final point for this. If you're someone that wants to make sustainable change, I hope you enjoyed this. And if you had any resonations or if you like this, please let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you ever need help with your coaching, please let me know. I absolutely love being able to help people step into the greatest version of themselves through so much love, through so much compassion, and also accountability through fitness, nutrition, and mindset training. So if you need help, you can check it out via the link below too. But I hope you enjoyed and have the best day. See you on the next one.